So, if you've ever needed a plumber, a haircut, or a cleaning service, like right now, chances are you've used the Urban Company app. It's slick, it's super convenient, but for that simple app to go public and be traded on the stock market, the company has to produce this, a document that's hundreds of pages long, just packed with dense legal jargon. Today, we're going to crack that code. We're going to see what this massive filing really tells us about the company.
Okay, just look at this contrast. On the left, you've got the app. It's clean, it's easy, it's made for us, the users. But on the right, that's the draft red herring prospectus, or DRHP. It is dense, it's complicated, and it's built for lawyers and big-time investors. Our whole job today is to bridge that gap between the app you know and the document you probably don't.
So why are they doing all this? Well, it all comes down to the IPO, the initial public offering. This is the big leagues. It's the moment a private company, like Urban Company, steps onto the public stage and says, "Hey world, you can now buy a piece of us." It's a huge milestone. And the key to this whole thing is the DRHP. That's our source for this entire explainer. The best way to think about it? It's the company's entire playbook laid bare for everyone to see. It's got everything, their business model, their financial health, every single thing that could possibly go wrong, and exactly what they're going to do with all the cash they raise. All right, let's break this thing down. We're going to start with Section 1, the company's growth story. This is the sizzle. This is the big, optimistic narrative that Urban Company is telling the world. It's the story they want you to hear. And right at the core of that story is this line, straight from the filing. They're all about being quality-driven, standardized, and reliable. Let's be honest, the home services market can be a bit of a Wild West, right? So their whole pitch is that they're the one you can count on. And wow, have they scaled up that vision? The DRHP shows that by the end of 2024, they were already in 48 different cities across India. I mean, think about that. That is not a small-time operation. That's a serious national footprint, and it's the bedrock of their whole growth story. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. How do they actually make money? It's not just one thing. First, you've got the main event, India Consumer Services. That's all the stuff we know. The repairs, the salon services, you name it. But second, and this might actually surprise you, they have a product line called Native, where they sell actual things, like water purifiers. And third, they're not just in India, they're expanding internationally to places like the UAE and Singapore. Okay, so that's the story they're telling. It sounds great, but an IPO filing isn't a fairy tale. It's all about backing it up with cold, hard numbers. So let's move to Section 2 and take a look at the books. Let's see how the story holds up. And this chart right here, this tells the most important financial story of all. Just look at this trend. In fiscal year 2023, the company was deep in the red, with a loss of over 3.1 billion rupees. Ouch. A year later, they cut that loss down dramatically. But the real headline? In the first 9 months of fiscal 2025, they didn't just break even, they swung to a profit of over 2.4 billion rupees. This is the turnaround story they're betting the farm on. But, you know, every great story has its potential villains. And that brings us to Section 3, the Wall of Warnings. This is the part of the document where the lawyers get to list out every single thing that could possibly go wrong. It's required, and it's always dramatic. First up on the list of worries, intense competition. Urban Company isn't just fighting other big apps. They're going head-to-head with thousands of local plumbers, electricians, and stylists. That pressure affects everything, from what they can charge to keeping the best pros on their platform. Next, we've got a risk that goes to the very heart of their business model: unrest among their service professionals. See, these workers are technically independent contractors, not employees. So any issues over pay, conditions, or platform rules could become a massive threat to their entire workforce. Then there's the trust factor. If a service professional does something wrong, it doesn't just reflect on them. It's a direct hit to the Urban Company brand. I mean, their whole business is about sending strangers into people's homes. Your reputation is on the line with every single tap of that Book Now button. And finally, the tech itself. You gotta remember, the whole company is built on a digital foundation. If that app crashes, if their servers go down, or if a payment partner has an outage, it's not just a minor bug. Bookings stop, payments fail, the entire operation can literally grind to a halt. So
When you step back and look at all these warnings, you start to see some clear themes, right? It boils down to a few big buckets: the constant battle with competition, the fragile nature of their gig worker model, the risk of operational meltdowns, the headaches of growing too fast, and, of course, the never-ending job of protecting their brand. Okay, so you have this amazing growth, but you also have all these risks. So why go public now? And maybe more importantly, what are they going to do with all that money? That brings us to our final section: following the money. And this chart from the filing, it tells you everything you need to know about their priorities. It's crystal clear. Remember that risk about being totally reliant on technology? Well, they're not running from it, they're doubling down. Over half of the money they raise is going right back into building out and strengthening that very tech platform.
So after all that, after digging through this massive document, what's the one big thing to take away? It's this: a DRHP is so much more than a boring legal filing. It's a tool that shows you the constant push and pull inside every growing company, the tension between its grand ambition, the story it wants to tell, and its messy, complicated reality, the story the numbers and the risks have to tell.
And that really leaves us with a huge question, one that's way bigger than just Urban Company. As this whole gig economy gets bigger and bigger and becomes a bigger part of our lives, how do we, as a society, balance the incredible convenience and growth these platforms offer with the need for real stability and security for the people who actually do the work? That's something to chew on.